Well, kind of like last week, there's precious little in the news to justify or give some kind of a reason why Tesla is popping today. Last week it was dropping. It was ahead of the market in terms of dropping, and the market then followed it. But now it's popping by over 2% today as the market's actually down. We'll look at all the news that I could find, and we'll see if we can find any threads that might explain this very big move this morning that just no other company is following. Let's start with market beat. Now, this is a possibility here. Is Steifel Nicholas raised their price target from 483 to 508. I mean, that's a pretty nice rise. And it's also a rise that's happening maybe in the face of other people not being this last week, not being quite so sure. The firm currently has a buy rating on Tesla. Stifel Nicholas target price indicates a potential upside of 25% from here. This is okay. This is good news. I'm not sure if Stifel has that much that much power, but could be. Tesla has been the subject of a number of other research reports, they say. The article says, Wedbush reissued an outperform rating and issued a 600 target. We saw that already. Industrial Alliance Security set a $300 price target, though. And then let's see, President Capital increased their price target from 373 to 529. I don't know when that was, October 29th. That's a long time ago. So there's a bunch. They're listing like all of these ones from a while ago. Here's one. Here's a new one. Mizuho lifted their price target from 450 to 485. That was on third. Nope, that was October 23rd. Yeah. So I mean, there's really not any news here. So this morning, the company has a current ratio of 207. That was when it was at 404, but now we're at 412. The company has a market cap of 1.34 trillion. That would be up a bit as well. The company has a 50-day moving average of 429 and a 200-day moving average of 361. A one-year low of 214. Look at that. And a one-year high of 488.54. Now that was intraday. I want to always keep that in mind. People talk about intraday. I think it's important to think about intraday versus close. The close on that day was 480. Investors.com has this. It says Teal Macro sold 207,613 shares in quarter three, cutting its Tesla position by about 76%. After those shares, Teal's fund holds 65,000 shares of Tesla, which remains its largest investment, valued at 26.91 million and representing 38.8% of its portfolio. So on the one hand, you go, wow, they cut a bunch of shares, they cut a huge percentage of their portfolio, and yet it is 38, almost 40% of the total portfolio. In the meantime, Teal in quarter three also sold his entire position of NVIDIA. And also nuclear energy play Vistra, which has been riding the AI data center energy wave since 2024. Okay, so you can say that was bad news. They cut all those shares. On the other hand, it's still a huge percentage of their portfolio. Now, this one is kind of old news, but I saw it pop up again this morning. Mario Nawfal put it up again, and I think it's an important thing to talk about. I have not mentioned it earlier when I saw it, but I think we should talk about it. Elon says to Bill Gates, not personally, he didn't pick up the phone, he just said it publicly for Bill to listen to. He says, quote, close that Tesla short while you still can. That's the end of the quote. Now, Elon is once again torching Bill Gates over the infamous short bet against Tesla, warning the Microsoft co-founder to close it out ASAP if he hasn't already. Okay, so what does this say to me? Well, Elon has made stock predictions. In the time I've been following it carefully, I would say that he's made stock predictions about 7 or 8 times. And as far as I can remember, all 7 or 8 of those times, he's always been right about the directionality of the stock. Now, sometimes he makes those stock predictions when he absolutely knows, but he makes them publicly, that something's about to happen. I think we all know something's about to happen. Gives a real question as to why Peter Thiel or others would be selling right now we pretty much know that any day we're going to have the safety riders taken out of robotaxis. We pretty much know that any day now, we're looking at 45 days left in the year or less, we are going to see the fleet expanded in Austin and in Northern California, likely 1,500 total. And we also know that sometime between now and the end of the year, if those two things happens, we're not sure why there wouldn't also be unsupervised FSD. Those three things together are, to me, my current just changed over the weekend number would take us to 600. Might take us a little higher than that, but I'm just going to stick with 600 if we get those three things. And I think it'll take us to all-time high for sure in December. And maybe it'll take until the end of January to get to 600, but that is a slight variation on my previous estimates. Then Mario Nawfal goes on again to talk about Tesla Robotaxi may be heading to Japan. Tesla just posted job listings in Japan for autopilot vehicle operators. That's the same role used when Robotaxi is launched in various U.S. cities. The opening is in Kanagawa, and if history repeats, self-driving Teslas could be rolling out next. Japan might be on the next stop of Elon's driverless world tour, according to Mario Nawfal. Of course, Japan is, I want to say, it's the third or fourth largest car market in the world. It's a little tiny place, but you have a lot of folks there and they drive a lot. So we'll see if that is going to be, so that could be, so you can see where there's some possibilities there for Tesla to be popping this morning. But I mean, holy mackerel, it's way ahead of the market. All right, this is Randy Kirk, by the way. You know what I'm going to say. Don't you know what I'm going to say? Did you buy the book yet? I mean, this is a very important book. You need to buy AI Rising. The information is down below. AI Rising is going to help you understand in great depth what's happening with regard to AI and then how it might impact your life, not only your business life. If you own a business, the company's life, and then if you're a professional or even if you're not a professional, it's probably going to impact your what you do for a living. It should be something that you are now planning and working on to make sure that you stay relevant. Okay, does that make sense? If you want to stay relevant, read the book. What about your kids, your grandkids? They need to stay relevant too, and you need to send them a copy for Christmas. All right, business activity increased. This is the Empire State Manufacturing Survey. Business activity increased at a solid pace. You'd think the whole market would be up. The headline General Business Conditions Index rose 8 points to 18.7. I'm assuming points would be like after the decimal point. So it didn't go from like 10 to 18.7. I think it went from 10 or 17.9 to 18.7. Its fourth positive reading in the last 5 months. That's really good. New orders and shipments both increased significantly. Delivery times lengthened modestly, and supply availability worsened somewhat, like you would expect when you've got a strong market. Inventories expanded. That's not what you expect. Labor market indicators improved, pointing to a small increase in employment and a longer average work week. The pace of both input price increases and selling price increases slowed slightly, but remain elevated. Capital spending plans grew. Firms expect conditions to improve in the next month ahead, though they were less optimistic compared to last month. First of all, it says that manufacturing activity grew moderately in the New York State. A minute ago, they said significantly. How come they changed that? The General Business Conditions Index climbed. We just said that. The new orders index rose 12 points to 15.9, which would be almost 10%. And the shipments index increased 2 points to 16.8. After 3 months of negative reading, the inventory index rose, which would mean maybe people it could be building up inventory to ship to their wholesalers and retailers for Christmas. The delivery times index edged up to 7.7, and supply availability index ticked down by 11.5. A modest increase in employment. The index for number of employees ticked up to 6.6. It doesn't say from what. The average work week index rose to 7.7 compared to what? Doesn't tell us. All right. Prices paid. Here we go. Both price indexes declined. Look at that. So you got activity up and prices declining. Both price indexes declined slightly but remained elevated. The prices paid index dropped 3 points to 49, and the prices received index also dropped 3 points to 24. Optimism dips. While firms still expect conditions to improve, they do expect them to improve in the months ahead. The index declined to 19.1. That was down 11 points. New orders and shipments are expected to increase. Supply availability is expected to be little changed. Firms continue to anticipate significant price increases ahead. Capital spending plans grew while the capital expenditures index raised 14 points to 11.5. All right, now this would be phenomenal news, extremely good news. Oh, yeah, except it might suggest that the Fed will take this into consideration in not decreasing interest rates. All right, so the good news, bad news thing, but at least for the overall economy, this would be excellent news. Now then, according to recent Wells Fargo analysis, the cost of a traditional Thanksgiving dinner for 10 people in 2025 is going to be 2 to 3% lower than 2024. This argument has been going back and forth on X. I don't know if it's getting any headlines outside of X, but there was a famous statement on one of the channels and this said that it was down 25% or something, or the president said it was going to be down a whole bunch. And then there was another commentary coming back that said that it was not apples to apples and that there was fewer items on the turkey dinner platter. Anyway, this is a apples to apples comparison by Wells Fargo. The dinner will be down 2 to 3% compared to last year. That's got to be good news. Well, maybe that's why Trump's numbers are up. Not very much, but back from 45 to 46 for the first time in a week. Truflation, what is Truflation saying? It's ticking up. The overnight ticked up a tiny bit to 255. By the way, that's a great number. If 0.5% of that is tariffs, which is what I'm just going off the chairman of the Fed, he says those are 0.5% is tariffs. That means we're at 2.05. Goods index is up 2.75. That's down, I think, from 2.83 last week. Core is down to 2.19. I think that's about the same. Services to 2.48. That might be ticking up slightly. And PCE over 1, 2.61, a slight decrease. All in all, I'd call that a pretty good report. Now let's see if Tesla is holding on to those gains, because from time to time we've seen Tesla go way up early and then it gets slammed later. Well, not today. What I said earlier might be true. Tesla last week, in my opinion, looking at the timing, led that downturn. And it looks like Tesla might be leading the upturn. Tesla's now up 2.66% at $415 a share, with the Dow is only up 0.03, but it was down. NASDAQ is only up 0.01, but it was down. S&P still down at 0.04, but it was down a lot more. And Magnificent Seven, only Google is up, with NVIDIA down a whole 1.6%, Amazon down 1.96%. So yeah, but Google is up over 4%, 4.61. Now remember, NVIDIA is reporting on Wednesday, so NVIDIA stock is going to be, more specific in terms of what's happening with NVIDIA stock. But the fact that Peter Thiel just sold, we had the Big Short nonsense. I don't care what the Big Short guy says anymore, because he hasn't been right since he was right about the housing problem. I think he's been wrong, and his fund just disappeared because he's so wrong. But anyway, NVIDIA is down 1.7 as Tesla continues up nicely this morning. All right, what about the the VIX though? VIX popped up this morning also. It's back over 20 again at 21. And you've got the Cathie Woods mostly down. You've got 𝐼𝐞𝐬𝐝 up a bit. Overall trending up, although some are trending down. So there you go. There's a confidence builder for you. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the bonds. They were down when I looked last time. They are still down. I'm sorry, the yields are down 0.9%, 4.139. My 4.15 ceiling continues to hold. You've got oil down 13 cents, just barely under $60. You've got natural gas down another 0.85%, still so elevated. We've got to solve that. And then we've got gold down 24 to 40.70. Silver down 0.14% but it's over $50. When, I thought it was under 50. What happened? I missed a day. Anyway, it's over $50, $50.63. And copper down 0.92 at $5.02. The dollar is inching higher, and Bitcoin is inching lower, only down 125, but at 90, listen to this, 94, 144. You got Ethereum up this morning a little bit, 0.91%, but it's at 3,126. Remember, it was almost at 5,000. And somebody called Tom Lee expects both of these to be up dramatically by the end of the year. There we go. Those are the numbers this morning. We've got later on today a very standard day. Larry Goldberg, I've already talked to, and Brian White, I've already talked to. So those shows will be coming up today. I have a special that might be on by noon. So I might have four shows today, but the fourth show, the special that'll be out around noon, is easy to do. So it's a slam dunk, and hopefully it's done and ready to go. There were some problems technically. Anyway, you don't care about any of that stuff. So that's what's happening later today. Last night, if you didn't see Monday morning, it's still very, very cogent. Everything in there is still newsworthy, including my predictions about what's going to happen this week. So you might want to, I'll put the card right there for that. You want to buy the book, that information is down below, and you want to start putting your orders in for your your Cybertruck bottle openers. They are, Cybertrucks are still kind of turning into a hot, not necessarily product, but people are still very excited about them. And there's a lot of people I think would love that as a Christmas gift. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. That's all I've got for you this morning. It's been great talking to you.